All right, hello, my name is Jon Witt, and this is a short practice to help you with your walking. It's a movement just to help in getting the mechanics to move more fluidly as far as your walking and your biomechanics of your body. Really basic, but it's something that I think is really essential in terms of living a longer, healthier way of life. So I'm just going to be starting with my knees or my feet a little bit wider than my hips. And I'm going to be bending my knees and then straightening my legs. So just bending. You could certainly hold a static hold. You don't have to be moving. But I'm coming up, getting the legs to be straight, bending and lifting, bending my legs. When I'm down low, I'm going to be lifting the toes and then lowering the toes. And each time I lift and lower the toes, it's a little bit easier to sit lower. Not that that's necessarily better, but just getting the legs to be active and warmed up. But then I'm coming back up into an upright position. So I'm going to be moving my pelvis in a hip rotation. So make it slow, make it small if you need to. But just traveling around, and then as you can notice me, everything is kind of moving along in the same as one piece, right? But as I'm moving around, right, I might notice some corners in my hips that are tight or just not as pliable as they have been. Common, right? Not a thing to worry about. I'm going to circle around the opposite direction. I like using time more as opposed to a repetition, because with a repetition you'll probably be counting, which is a great meditation. Counting is a great meditation, but you could use this follow along to help you in terms of, let's say at some point you just like doing it on your own. I would use a timer as opposed to counting. So just a few more to the left, and then back into the middle, and then my hands remain on my hips, and I'm just elevating each side of my pelvis and just getting my pelvis to lift and lower. And doesn't have to be as full of a range of motion as myself. It could be more if you wanted it. It could certainly be less. But you'll notice the musculature above the pelvis can be very tight, and that can help. That can be a big contributing factor as far as why your pelvis may not move when you're moving. So I'm going to come back into the middle. I'm going to circle my pelvis in a circular motion, so my head stays in the same line as my pelvis, but just moving my pelvis around. Your hands don't have to be on your hips, but it can help, so you can kind of see which hip has a more difficult time lowering and lifting. And I'm circling around the opposite direction, just getting it to move around. And then as I'm moving it around, right, it's, again, going to help in exposing the body and stretching out the upper body. And then I'm going to come back into the middle. And what I'm doing is I'm moving my tailbone down, and then I'm moving it back up. So moving it down, moving it back up, moving it down, moving it back up, moving it down, back up, down, and just holding the down position so my knees are bent. It's a really good way to help unlock the lower back, and then my legs are straight. So I'm going to do a little bit of walking, but as I'm walking, I'm going to be more obvious. So typical walking is ipsilateral or contralateral, and then what's nice is moving same arm, same leg. I'm not going to do a lot of this, but I'm going to be walking forward and back, and I'll let you know when I am moving. So I'm just at the back of my mat, right? Have a wall next to you, because when I am walking backwards, if you're not stable enough, the wall is really good. So just walk forward as you would, just walking, and then just walk backwards. Get yourself to be more upright, walking forward, right, and then walking back. Right. Now when we walk forward, walk same arm, same leg. So right arm forward, left leg, right arm, left leg. Just walk as you would backwards. Really, really good for your knees. And do the same thing, right arm, right leg, left arm, right? Then back and moving. But this more obvious motion will definitely help your body swing a little bit better in terms of, you walking. So again, but I'm going to start with my left leg, left arm, right leg, right, left arm, left leg, then walking backwards. Just one more time with that. So left arm, left leg, right leg, left arm, back, nice and upright, and then just back into a standing position. So I'm going to come back into the middle, just finish up with a side bend. So I'm leaning to the right, elevating my right side, letting my head relax to the left shoulder, lifting myself up, going to the right side, left side's lifting. Super basic, really something that I would use for someone that had some back pain, and back up to center. So just getting the pelvis to move a little bit more should help. There's also some things that I'll include as well in a future video as far as your arms. So I hope that helped. You could let me know if it did help. You could share it with someone that needs it. So by sharing my information, right, helps me help others. So I hope it helps. Have a great day, have a great practice, and hopefully I'll see you soon in class. Right. Okay, hello, my name is Jon Witt, and this next video is just a short lower body mobility practice. So you don't need a lot of equipment, but you do probably gonna need a softer surface. So I doubled up my mat. If you have like a thick carpet or you'd like to do this on grass, that helps. But getting the body to sit down on the ground more will be a very good thing to use. And what I'm going to do, just because I'm standing and it's good for you to stand up as well, is I'm going to have my feet a little bit wider than my shoulders, and I'm bringing my knees in just to the degree that I can. So don't get caught up in you have to get your knees together for this to be effective. But this will help when moving the thighs in, which is internal rotation, and then bringing them out. So just getting the legs to move a little bit more than they typically do can be very helpful or useful for the knees. And then back up. And then just one more time, I'm bringing it in. And then back up. So what, to rotate, right, to turn the thigh in is very, very good for the knees. So when you get up from your chair, you want to pivot on the front of the foot, right? So it's the knee is not getting twisted at all. You just keep the mechanic within the hip, and then the knee can function better. So just really lifting the heel and turning out. I'm going to do this on the ground, and it's a little bit easier to use, just using a 90-90 stretch. Some call it a shin box. So when I'm down on the ground, I'm just going to have my feet a little bit wider than my shoulders. And with my feet a little bit wider than my shoulders, I'm just taking my legs over to the right side. So letting the knee come in. My right leg can be at a 90-degree angle. My left leg could be on an elevated surface, like it could be slightly higher. And some people are better off with the toes kind of tucked underneath. Yoga, we use this as hero's pose. They're all good, but especially if you got stuff going on in your knee, you got pre-existing stuff, it's better to find an easier route initially, but then over time, right, working through the difficulty of being in these positions can be quite useful. So I'm going to come forward over my right leg with a flat back. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to lift the leg, not off the floor, but I'm lifting it into my chest. So just straight up into my chest. And then I'm coming up. Now you could hold this statically, right? In yoga, typically hold static positions. You could certainly do that, but I'm using it more for strength and mobility. So I'm coming forward, which will help with flexibility, right? Mobility will help with your flexibility. I'm moving my right leg into my chest as I'm getting lower, and that's what's bringing me more forward. It's not that I'm more flexible than you, it's I'm more active, right? I'm using an active approach. So I'm moving forward, but I'm lifting the leg. I'm trying to activate the leg so it's closer to my chest, and that's what's stretching out the right side of my hip. So this is more for the external rotator. So I'm going to take the left knee up. I'm moving the knees out. I'm pushing the legs apart, just getting the legs to move apart. Really simple. And take note of, again, which positions are actually healthier for you. So I'm lifting the right, or I'm bringing the right knee forward and down, so the right knee's kind of on the inside of my left foot. So again, I could be here, back foot could be tucked, right where you're on the toes rather than the inside of the foot. The back knee could be slightly elevated. But then over time, it's good to be low because it's going to add more internal rotation. Upright is very, very beneficial for the back hip. But I'm going to come forward. As I come forward with my back being straight, extending, extending, extending. But as I'm here, if I use effort in my left leg, like lifting the leg towards my chest, like actively using the leg, that's what's going to bring me more forward and down, right? And then bringing myself up. What's popular is weighted stretching, which works too, but you don't necessarily need it. Some people don't need it, right? Some people do. But I'm coming forward. Like if I was really tight, I think weighted stretching is very good. But the more flexible you are, the less necessary it is. Like your body weight could be more than enough weight. So when I'm low, I'm bringing the left leg up into my body. Then I'm taking myself up. One more time, I'm going to come forward. Right? Bringing the leg into the chest, slightly up, and then taking myself up. Now I'm going to take my right knee up and moving my knees out. So pushing my thighs apart for a few seconds, and then just letting it relax. Pushing it out, letting it relax, pushing it out, and then letting it relax. I'm just going to sit cross-legged, which is another good position, but I'm just going to keep it short, just so shorter sometimes is better, and shorter might be all that you really have time for. So I hope the video helped. You can let me know how it goes. Really basic, but just getting the thighs to learn how to rotate again is a really basic skill to develop again if you've lost it. But very good for the knees, very good for the hips, and very good for the spine. So let me know how it goes. You can like the video, you can share it, you can leave a comment as well if there's something that you'd like me to include in terms of making a specific video. All right, have a great day and have a good practice.